Welcome back to another Diablo 4 video. We have some serious news in the world of Sanctuary to go over. Now, if you've noticed that your damage has fallen off in the last few days because of disabling of aspects, the devs have finally responded with a patch that we'll be going over here today. Some classes have been noticing a limited amount of drops, and the devs have finally responded with a update to that situation. If you're a solo player and need some details on some of the best ways to progress, we got some pretty good information for you. And finally, some very interesting stats showcased by the Diablo 4 team that we're going to go over. And yeah, looks like a lot of key features are just not being utilized with this. We got a jam-packed episode, so let's begin. So starting things off, this is probably the biggest news of the day. We do have a update from the global community manager, Mr. Adam Fletcher, and he has tweeted on Twitter that we have rolled out a new hotfix for Diablo 4 this afternoon. This also has re-enabled some aspects that were disabled previously, including Edgemaster aspect and aspect of Berserk ripping. You can read here in the patch notes. So for those of you who are not aware, or you maybe didn't notice your damage fall off, basically there were two different aspects that were disabled, Edgemaster and the Berserk ripping aspect. Both of these were being exploited to some capacity. Some players were basically doing insane amounts of damage, and the dev team had to disable them for about 4 or 5 days. But we have them back now, so you should notice a sizable increase. But let's dive right on into the patch notes and read them, because there are a few other things that we need to go over. Alright, so again, this is the community manager, Mr. Adam Fletcher, and we're going to be reading the hotfix for June the 12th. This is just basically 3 hours ago. So first off, dungeons, further adjustments to elite monster density in dungeons. So if you saw my last video yesterday, they did nerf the density of mobs. I don't know if this is a second nerf or if they're just clearing it up, but it looks like it says further adjustment, so I have to assume this is another on top of the previous nerf. And we do have some notes to read here. We are standardizing the density of elite monsters that spawn in dungeons to ensure that no particular dungeon is clearly more effective to run than others. So it does look like they are nerfing experience once again, making it marginally a bit harder for everyone. But obviously solo players haven't been addressed, as solo players going to get the brunt of this as they get less experience. So we're going to be going over some solutions to this that maybe can help you guys out. But again, another nerf for experience and another no solution for solo players. I'd like to know what you guys think about this. I'm not a big fan of this, but it looks like this is the direction that Diablo is going with, favoring nerfing over buffing things. So next, they did talk about the legendary aspects that we covered in the beginning of the video, but we're going to talk about it. Fixed an issue where the damage bonuses from Edgemaster legendary aspect was incorrectly reapplied to Whirlwind when a shout was used. So again, I've saw some creators actually using this to basically cheese the boss to some extent. They were actually like 1 or 2 shotting the, well, not shotting, but because they're spinning, but they were basically like 2 channeling the spin and almost killing the uber boss with it. Yeah, so they had to get this done. I understand, but I hate that it was disabled for so long, but this had to be done because this was just broken. Next, they resolved the issue relating to the aspect of Berserk ripping and the barbarian two-handed sword expertise that were allowing players to deal unintended amounts of damage. Now, I'm not very familiar with what this bug is. All I know is the two-hand weapon expertise will give you bleeding from every single thing that you do, as long as you hit them when you have this expertise equipped. And Berserk ripping gives you basically berserking. I'm not sure what the interaction was, but someone was exploiting it, so it had to be done. Finally, there has been some miscellaneous changes. Fixed an issue where the World Tier 3 quest was given to players who have not yet met the requirements needed to advance to that world tier. Fixed an issue where the events in the dilapidated aqueduct subzone had improper level scaling and further stability improvements. I love seeing the further stability improvements. This is absolutely needed. The lag that I get, the stutters, definitely need a lot more than that. But yeah, it looks like this is going to be a really good patch. This is going to really help out with fairness to the game. Again, we have to suffer for 5 days without it, but this is pretty big. I do want to see the community response to the further adjustment to at least monster spawn density in dungeons. This is again another massive nerf, but fortunately I do have something that's going to help you guys out when it comes to that, and we're going to jump right into that. So here we are on the Nightmare Dungeon tier list for solo players. This is specifically targeted for solo play. So for those of you just like me who are playing by yourself, this is a list of the best dungeons that you can pretty much farm to give yourself the most efficiency. And obviously this is, you know, S, A, B, C, D, and F tier. Champion's Demise, obviously one of the big ones. Blind Borrows, I did this one quite a lot, so definitely really good list, I can tell by these, but we're gonna go down and read. So the Pixel list. Hey all, a few friends and I have been running hundreds of nightmare dungeons, and we put together a list of what we consider to be the best and the worst dungeons available for nightmare dungeon farming. There are some caveats. First, we evaluated this based entirely on solo players. People who play in groups may view this slightly differently. Obviously, Champion's Demise is good no matter what. I do it solo sometimes, I do it with teams, it's obviously more efficient, but from that alone we already know this is an S tier. Anyway, second, we evaluated the map primarily with the density of the map, but overall mob density and density of elite packs. Now this may actually change considering the density change that we just recently got, so maybe take this with a bit of grain of salt, but the fact that the next line is actually pretty important. Map layout, how straightforward it is or how easy it is to navigate, very likelihood to backtrack. Obviously this is going to be valuable regardless of if the mob density has changed or not, because you know this is inherently designed, some maps are inherently designed to be just straight up backtrackier, and this is taken into consideration, and that's why I really want to make sure that this list is out, because you know this is important. That's a really key thing that slows you down. Objectives, kill all enemies or kill constructs, were typically better to run than objectives like free 7 prisoners. So it does look like kill all are better, but for me, I hate all kill all. I just want to go in and just kill things. But anyway, presence of intermissions. This is the single square room between sections where you have to do things like kill the totems or survive, stuff like that. We generally rate this harshly because those sections do not drop loot and do not give any XP. So I didn't even know that. That's pretty interesting to know. So, and then now they based it off of mob types. In general, we found maps with penitents, spiders, spider hosts, zombies had great density. Meanwhile, we rated maps that had ghosts or red ones fairly harsh because not only density was not great, these mobs were extremely obnoxious to deal with. And yes, I know this is for a fact because these mobs, I really hate these kind of dungeons. Note also, all we balanced abilities to XP farm with loot drops, meaning that a map needed to be relatively easy to farm with great density and simple layout. So basically, as you can see, these guys put a lot of effort into getting this list done. They really wanted to make sure that this is good for solo play because, as I said before many times, solo play is not good for solo players. You have to be in a party to be efficient, and if you're playing by yourself, you're just going to be pretty much slow. I love this list. I'll have it linked down in the description somewhere for you guys to check out. But yeah, this is a big one. Huge shout out to them for this. This is going to be great for a lot of solo players. So on to the next bit of news, and this is a big news for Druid players. If you're playing Druid, then you may have noticed a disparity in some of your drops. Going over to Twitter, we have a user saying level 98 Druid found more than 30 barb unique weapons and not a single temporal war. Fixed Druid loot table ? It looks like there is a bug. Apparently Rod Ferguson responded with saying yes, it's a known issue and we're working on it. So for all my Druid players out there, if you've noticed that you're getting a lot of good loot that isn't specifically for you, or just not getting anything for your class, this isn't like you or you're not crazy. This is just a game just not working as intended. There is a fix being rolled out. Looks like they are doing a lot of fixes right now, so I imagine it wouldn't be too long for you guys to get, you know, your gear up. But yeah, just keep in mind, if you're playing Druid right now, you can't find the Temporal Roar, Tempest Roar rather, then this is probably why you haven't found it yet. Now on to the final news of the night, and it does look like Diablo 4 did drop a tweet giving some details. With over 276 million hours spent in Diablo 4 already. It's been one hell of a launch. This is only the beginning. Now there has been a lot of stats that they released, and I wanted to go over the week 1 launch stats just to give you guys a bit of insight, maybe share my thoughts, and would like to know what you guys think about these stats. But it looks like there has been over 276 million hours played of, you know, just players playing, 2.73 billion monster kills. That is pretty insane. 316 million deaths by players, which, you know, I share about 10 of those, and players killed in PvP only 500,000, actually less than 500,000. That is pretty staggering. Now I did go over a video yesterday talking about the PvP and whatnot. While I'm not playing it because of the one shot and the imbalance, but man, it looks like the key feature that is PvP is totally ignored. Now, I did also do a video talking about what was the purpose of PvP, and honestly, I just don't actually see the reason for it. It doesn't really bring you any value. You don't really get anything more but a bunch of seeds that is very expensive to spend, maybe some cosmetics here and there, but there's no one in there doing anything. The people who are doing anything are grouping and then like one-shotting you, and to be quite honest, is not really the strong suit of the game. Generally, I find like most of the ARPGs just really do a bad job of doing these launches with PvP, and you know, I don't play Diablo 4 for PvP, but at the end of the day I would really like to have the option to possibly do it, but no one's playing it. It's poorly balanced if we expect it, and yeah, just there's really no incentive to do it, so definitely need some adjustments in my opinion, but we'll see how that goes. Still the best class in my opinion currently, because I feel like defensive layers is fine, which is mobility, having range options, having melee options, but it looks like people love sorcerers. I gotta see how they scale into the end game. I hear bad things, but yeah, it looks like people are loving it. So a lot of interesting stats here for Diablo 4, but let me know guys what you think about all these stats. Do you think sorcerer is that popular? It's pretty crazy, right? Anyway, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. I love giving you guys these update videos. Just remember, if you leave a comment down, I will possibly just read it out in my next video. I'm gonna start doing that at the end of these videos and read your guys' top comments. So feel free to leave a comment and maybe we can have a quick discussion. That'll be really cool. Anyway, don't forget to like as well as subscribe, and I'll have another update for you guys very soon. Later.